morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, we need to continue talking about what we just got shown at the Pokemon World Championships. Yeah, they've gone and shown us a new Tag Team GX. It's one that I did not see coming, and I don't think you did either. Togepi and Cleffa and Igglybuff. Tag Team GX. That's right. It is another Triple Team Tag Team GX. The one we've previously had, of course, being the Free Birds, a card which was not good. Yeah, this one is, ladies and gentlemen. This one's really good. Now, it's a bit weird, because we didn't have babies for ages. We've just had a new Togepi and a new Cleffa. And although we haven't had a new Igglybuff yet, there has been a promo card released in Japan. I'm sure we'll get it before too long. Okay, cool. What about Bidoof? When's his new card? A long time away. Sorry. Anyway, what does it do? It's a fairy Pokemon, which means you're hitting weakness, frankly, against some really good Pokemon. Garchomp and Giratina's looking really good, and Reshiram and Zekrom is looking really good. So, yeah, this is a really good typing to be. Retreat cost of 2 is not ideal, but we do have that Beware that can give you free retreat. Weakness to Metal is honestly fine. There just aren't many good Metal Pokemon around at the moment, so I think we're doing all right. Resistance to Darkness isn't as relevant as it has been. With Zoroark going away, Darkness is not a huge typing. But we got stuff like Mega Sableye and Tyranitar, which is still out there, so, you know, it's always nice to have a resistance. And given that you are a fairy Pokemon, you can always take advantage of stuff like Wondrous Labyrinth Prism Star, which is, you know, kind of nice. Stops your opponent attacking unless they attach an extra colourless energy, so that's all good. Okay, the basics are fine. HP is 240, that is actually the joint lowest amongst Tag Team GXs. We're really looking at Pikachu and Zekrom and Gengar and Mimikyu as the only other Pokemon that are down there at 240. As always, if I missed one, comment section. So we're not loving the basics here, but they're fine. It's weak, but it's a good type. It's got an attack and a GX attack, and the main attack here, Fairy Colourless Energy, 120 damage, flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 30 more damage for each heads. So straight off the bat, you're doing 120 damage, and I'll be honest with you, 120 damage is not particularly good. You see, there's a whole bunch of non-GXs out there, like Buzzwole and, I mean, like Granbull, who is one of your other fairy competition in terms of seeing fairy decks in play, that have 130, 120 is a bit low. Then, of course, if we talk about the Pokemon we're hitting for weakness, we really want to be hitting 270. So really it's 280. We want to hit 140 with weakness, double 280. Oh, look. Now we get a one-hit KO on those Dragon Pokemon, the ones that are weak to Fairy. Except you're not. Now, Rolling Panic can be so much better than this. Rolling Panic can get you up to this. And to be fair, right, a single heads, and you're up to 150, which double with weakness is 300, and you're off and rolling and golden and great. But the problem is you've got to hit a heads. And maybe you don't hit a heads. Maybe you hit a tails. You got a 50-50 shot. Time was we had Victini, and then there was another time more recently where we had Victini, but both of those Victini have gone away. We used to have Trick Coin, but that's gone away. We used to have Choice Band that could do the extra 30 damage just straight away as a tool, but that's gone away. There are plenty of cards that we have had that would be able to do that extra damage, but they're gone, ladies and gentlemen. Those cards are gone away. And that's a bit of a problem. Because you're stuck doing 120. And if you hit that one heads up to 150, everything gets so much better. Whole heap of non-GXs, going down. Tag teams that are weak, going down. The problem is that until then, we're in a bit of a tricky situation. Now, the good news is there are some GXs that are weak as well. We're talking Ultra Necrozma and the newer Naganadel, the one from Unified Minds, and you will get fairly easy one-hit KOs on them with this attack. That is lovely. But this is slightly underpowered. And we've also got to talk about how we're getting the energy on here. Now, we do have Gardevoir and Sylveon that attaches extra energy with its first attack, and given that that is for a single colourless energy, you can basically start the game by just attacking and adding energy, which is what Gardevoir and Sylveon generally does. But we've passed the days of Xerneas. Now, we had Xerneas, and actually we had Xerneas Break as well, which really relied on having lots of energy on the field. And between Xerneas' Geomancy and Max Elixir, we were fine. Really, with this free energy here, you kind of need Gardevoir and Sylveon. Except Gardevoir and Sylveon's attack, it's a Tag Team GX, it's got more HP, and for the same free energy, it does 150, and it allows you to move the energy around. So I'm looking at this going, well, hang on a second. I don't mind the first attack, but we're looking at this going, why would I use this first attack over Gardevoir and Sylveon? Because Gardevoir and Sylveon has more HP, it has a first attack, and it has a better main attack, as well as having the same retreat, same weakness, same resistance, etc. Yeah, when we just look at the first attack, the only way we'd play it over Gardevoir and Sylveon is if we're feeling lucky. And that's where we need to finish off the discussion of this first attack. If you are feeling lucky, oh yes. Because you see, if you can keep flipping heads, you can keep doing extra damage. And eventually you'll do enough damage to one-hit KO literally anything. Absolutely any Pokemon can be KO'd here. Want to take down a Magikarp and Wailord with 300 HP? 6 heads. 6 heads, you do an extra 180, added to the 120 base, means that you are doing 300. Now, 6 heads in a row is only a 1 in 64 chance. Every 64 times you try and flip 6 heads in a row, you'll do it. It'll work. Yeah. Now, the GX attack here is legit nuts. The main thing here, the starting point, 2 fairy energy, take another turn after this one. Skip the between turn step. Now, this is actually really important because poison gets applied between turns. Shrine of Punishment drops damage between turns. You do not get the between turn step, so poison, burn, flipping for sleep. If between turns still happened, you could be asleep. I don't wake up. Use, it's one of the best names ever, Supreme Puff GX. You get another turn and you get a chance to flip to wake up. That is not the case. You skip the between turn step. That is no flipping for sleep, no burn damage, no poison damage, no Shrine of Punishment, nothing like that. Okay. Now, just taking an extra turn is fine, but remember this doesn't do any damage. So you're not actually getting any attacks off here. So you're not really getting 2 attacks in a row. Now, what you are getting is another turn of abilities. Another turn of attaching energy, another turn of playing Pokemon, another turn of evolving, another turn where you can play a supporter. There are lots of things you can do during your turn, and this GX attack lets you do them all a second time. However, you do not actually do any damage with this. Oh no, wait! Because there's an extra effect. Now, this is kind of over the top. But if you've got 14 extra fairy energy attached to it, that is 16 energy in total, your opponent shuffles all of their bench Pokemon and all cards attached to them into their deck. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know if we're ever actually going to get this working. I mean, when we look at extra energy here, there are some Pokemon that just go, a little bit silly. So if we look at something like Mega Sableye and Tyranitar, you need 10 energy total. 10 energy total is a lot. This is 16 energy. And look, if you can get this working, it's phenomenal. Especially if you can combine this with some kind of gusting like a double custom catcher or a great catcher, which will be out by then. You can bring up some irrelevant random Pokemon, maybe something like a Dedenne GX that they only played for a little bit of extra draw, and then get rid of all of their bench Pokemon, and they lose everything. Their support Pokemon, their backup attackers, their main attacker, all gone. It's wonderful, but oh my goodness, is it going to be difficult to pull off. And it is possible to pull it off, but essentially you've got to really go for it. You've got to really try extremely hard to actually get this rolling. So if you're in the expanded format, you can use that Stage 2 Togekiss with the ability Serene Grace. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may look at the top 8 cards of your deck, choose any basic energy cards you find there and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Or if you want to go a bit more recent, but potentially a bit more awkward, we do have Morgan, that lets you look at the top 12 cards of your deck and attach any energy cards you find to your Pokemon in any way you like. Hilariously, even if you hit all 12 as basic fairy energy, you will still be 4 energy short here. You've also got to discard Dana, Evelyn, and Nita from your hand in order to be able to use this. Shall we say it's awkward? And then I'm in a weird situation with this card, because I absolutely adore that we're getting a GX card with free baby Pokemon. That is wonderful. But by the same token, the first attack is no better than Gardevoir and Sylveon, unless you want to go and get super risky with the flips. And the GX attack here is great, but to really make the most of it, you've got to have 16 energy on. Let's give this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I want to love this card. And I do love this card, but I do worry that in terms of competitiveness, it might not be quite everything we dreamed of and more. But I'd very much like to know what you think about it, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, where we talk about a whole bunch of games, and Twitch, where we do some live stuff. And if you want to support the channel, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. Oh, and go and check out youtube.com/WassiePlays. I'll talk about games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.